Let's test to see if I can hear myself and how good the audio is because I have audio problems all the time. What if I can just not hear myself? Is this an actual audio? Oh, I can't. Ooh, I have too much on my computer. I need to plan this out better. I need to stop devoting myself to the wolves here. That's fine, Mom. Oh, yeah. Okay. Now no longer live on my own stream. Okay. Test. Comunity, we got to rest. They got their moon with Zabiat. Okay, yep. Hey, now I can actually send the link out. That's nice. Lovely. Okay. Links out. Honestly, at this point, ooh, oh boy. It's kind of become tradition for me to play something at least before I get into the swing of things. So here is a rendition of Only Boyfriend by Brandon McLean. Maybe I'm your only boyfriend. Nope, that's not the lyrics. I'm right here, and I lied to myself. Okay. I could be your newest boyfriend. Gonna happen, hopefully rather soon. On a blue moon. Pose for questions and photo. Push for answers. I don't know though. My detective, my detective, lie detective. I will let you down, down, nope, down, down with all that you found. There's a string off on here, I know. Down, I'll let you down. There's a string off, I can't tell which one it is. If you don't want to know my track record, baby, I don't want to know your track record, baby. Everything before all of this does not exist. I don't want to know your track record, baby. We could start a fire, we could start a family. You don't want to know my track record, baby. I owe you a better start than maybe I'm your own boyfriend. Not forever, but a substantial time. I'll keep you in mind on conclusion, satisfaction. Pose for questions and photo. Push for answers. I don't know though, my detective. My detective, lie detective, I will let you down, down, with all that you found. I'll let you down, 'cause you don't wanna know my track record, baby. I don't wanna know your track record, baby. Everything before all this does not exist. You don't wanna know my track record, baby. We could start a fire, we could start a family. You don't wanna know my track record, baby. I owe you a better start than this. Than this, than this. I owe you a better start than I could be your own boyfriend. I could be your own boyfriend. It's kind of a train wreck, but best things in life are train wrecks. I put this on over my earbud. Love that. Actually, I just realized I didn't check to see what mic I'm using. It's tied. It's tied around the thing. It's tied around the thing. Okay, wait. We're good now. I'm just gonna place this outside. Let me check. Microphone should be on. Okay, it's on the right one. Well, that's done. That's over with. If you were trying to ignore the horrible, horrible singing, you joined just in time. I'm gonna switch over to, what this stream's actually about. Let's see. Let me pull it up. Actually, keeping an eye on the stream at the same time. Here it is. So, this actually could be on. Alright. For context, this is Auditum Parvum. The whole line is, don't you know, talking about a revolution, and then Auditum Parvum is the closest translation I have for sounds like a whisper. It literally just means like sounds small, sounds quiet. Um, but for context, in canon Fire Emblem Three Houses, there is a character named Dedu, and he is. Ooh, there's like so much to talk about when it comes to Dedu's character, in which so you have to understand that, like, Dedu's character is very black coded and very like he's very like it's very minority coded. The whole story with Dedu and his people is that there was a time where uh, one of the three powerful like countries, the Kingdom of Fargus, uh, they were on their way to Dusker because Dusker is close by and they were allies. They're close neighbors, and at the time, the like carriage, the convoy that the king was on was overturned and like by a mysterious entity. Nearly everyone was killed except for Dimitri, who is the prince and is like one of the main characters. He's like one of the lords of Fire Emblem Three Houses. Um, and the blame was put on Dusker for reasons that aren't explicitly stated, but it's well known that it's like there's a lot of smaller details in the background that you actually don't get told during Dimitri's route, but like it basically caused this horrible, horrible like thing where the death of the king and like few other important Fargus figures is called the tragedy of Dusker, and then in retaliation because they think it's Dusker, they torch the land, like slaughter. It's a genocide basically. Like the king has died. Everyone thinks that people from Dusker did it. So to counter regicide, they basically like kill nearly everyone. And the dude is a survivor, and he's only a survivor because Dimitri is somehow in the area at the time of the genocide, and is like, no, hold up, this is too far. He's a kid because he's like 14 at the time. I don't remember age as well. God, I have to like scroll up to find this now. But anyway, this Fix It Fic is basically like the dude is tired of people's shit because throughout the game he's treated so horribly. He's treated so horribly. I was disgusted playing this game because they're. I just hate. I hate how the dude gets treated. Like he just gets treated so horribly, and for what? And for what? It makes no sense. It's not worth it. Man, like, goddamn, how stupid do you have to be? Uh, but yeah, it should be a bigger plot point, especially because, like, um, one of the notable figures is Glenn, who has, like, Glenn, he was, like, the best knight of Fargus, and he has ties to Felix and Ingrid, being Ingrid's older brother. No, Felix's older brother, and Ingrid's, like, groom to be, which is something else entirely to talk about, which we'll probably get to. But, like, I really just want to talk about how closely. Yeah, he's 14 when it happens. I did have my time right. He's 14 when it happens because he turns 15 in the first chapter of the fic, and that's pre-game. This is like 3 years before the game starts because the dude is 18 when game starts. I think. Yeah, he's 18 when the game starts because Sylvain is 19. And but yeah, like reminder, because there's so much that this just connects to, and I have no idea. I should have had a list. I should have had a list of things to just talk about when it comes to how badly the dude is treated, but there's so much. My list would be like a whole ass scroll. Okay, let's actually go. I'm gonna go through pregame chapters and just talk about why I did some things because I did these things and I did them for reasons. And the reasons were because like throughout the entire game I was really like looking at the treatment of today and I was thinking to myself, damn, this isn't exactly the same as being black in America, and I would assume the whole world, but I don't go around the world. I don't travel that much because I'm scared of what would happen. But like I really just was disgusted like with everything, and I was like, ugh, the dude, man, I'm gonna get you out of there. I'm gonna get you out of there. But let's see, uh, Michigan's castle. Okay, yeah. So very few people actually respected you throughout the entirety of the game, which like okay, even if you believed at the beginning that some people from Dusker murdered your king, taking that shit out on a child, on someone who you know is too young to have done that shit. Oh god, garbage, trash. But then again, everyone also like it's a prominent thing with uh one of his supports with Sylvain, who I said was a year older than him. Sylvain kind of treats him like an older brother, older mentor kind of figure. So a lot of people probably look at Juju, especially with his height and stature, and think he's older, which again happens to a lot of black people, especially black girls. Like black girls are made to be adults so quickly, and it's so ugly. Like there's just so much like you have to grow up quicker, and then people treat you older, and it's wild. Let's see. Pay attention to Ficus Grandstone. I do kind of rip on Fergus in this, but it's because Fergus is very nationalistic and relies on chivalry and outdated codes, and it's not good. Like I've been thinking about Fergus culture since quarantine started. I started writing this before quarantine, and then quarantine came along, and I was like, huh, I don't. I see far too much in this. Let's see. What's saying? Swear to yeah, and then I have this whole thing where there's just a lot. I have so we don't learn that much about Dusker. We don't learn that much about like the dude doesn't talk about his home that much, which in canon makes sense. Everyone hates his home. He doesn't really have a safe place to talk about his home. So of course he won't talk about it much, but then that also means we don't learn that much about his home. Like all we really know about Dusker is that it's like northwest to the kingdom, um, and they're ooh, it's northwest of the kingdom, and they're polytheistic, so multiple gods. They pray to one in times of need. I kind of stretch that out in world building because the if the developers won't build Dusker, then I will. Um, yeah, but basically, I made it so that each family kind of like followed a god in their house, and then you could pray to any of them, but you generally like pray to one because that's just the thing I find with community and stuff. Like, I was thinking very hard. I was thinking very closely about like how Dusker would relate to Fergus, and I was really finding myself like coming to the realization that I was like Dusker relies a lot on community, like bartering, talking, and Fergus relies a lot on the ideas of royalty and chivalry. Like Fergus will have like written records of kings and who's in what position, and will say that Dusker is uneducated or less than for having a more oral tradition, although they do write stuff down. They have more like oral and cultural history, which I actually find like very beautiful. Like imagine like having an orated history in which the small details change every time, but like the main gist is there. I don't know why. I just love it. I love it. Focus relies on crest. Okay, crest in game. Ooh, it's kind of a touchy subject to talk about crest in game because everyone has such a different opinion on them. Like it's basically some way for eugenics. And ignore me here. I'm seeing this dust in between guitar strings, so I'm just gonna start cleaning it up while I talk about it. Um, but basically, a if a character has a crest, then every time that they act a certain way, like every time they do a certain action, there's a chance that they get a there's a chance that they get an added effect. And crests are for like royalty and stuff, nobility. If you have a crest, you are most likely uh, nobility. You are definitely related to one of the figures in Frozen legend because that's where Crest has been said to come from. There's a deeper story with Crest that I'm going to try not to spoil, but know that it is connected to the deeper story of Dusker and why Dusker didn't do it, why they were framed, and information that you just don't learn in Dimitri's route, which makes no sense because like Dimitri's route should be like every route you should learn about this, about X. And the fact that you don't learn about it on Dimitri's route makes it hard for you to like judge anyone in Dimitri's route because yeah, sure you can follow Dimitri's line of thought and be like, Edelgard is trying to destroy the planet. Okay. Like you play Edelgard's route and it's just like there's a reason she's trying to do this. And you attack Claude for some reason and Claude's just minding his own business. Like the Blue Lion's route is not well done. It's not well written, in my opinion. Like there are so many different plot hooks with like changing the kingdom. Like, come on. You could come on. Three Houses dropped the ball. Like I'm Three Houses dropped the ball and I'm picking it up for a slam dunk when it comes to Dusker. I'm sorry. Continuing along, like really the first few chapters are cultural differences. Uh, yeah, 2015. Okay, and then we have to talk about like Ingrid. And to talk about Ingrid, we have to talk. Ugh, God, I'm about to open up a real ass can of worms. Ingrid. So Ingrid's racist. Remember how I said that? Remember how I said during the tragedy of Dusker, Glenn died, and Glenn was Ingrid's like husband to be. Which, again, another can of worms. We're gonna kind of open it right now. Um, well, when Glenn died, Ingrid just like had a strong hatred for anyone from Dusker, anyone with, melanin in their skin. And God, it's like, it's so like she's a white woman about it, so she doesn't say anything harsh. She just shoves him aside and like thinks he's being more aggressive than he is, and it's bad because no one calls her out on it. Like, there's very few opportunities for like three characters to interact, but no, like there are so many chances in other supports and stuff where anyone can call her out on how she treats other people because the dude is not her only victim in her modern white feminism. Like she she honestly has a hit list. Like she has an ideological hit list for some people. But yeah, Ingrid and her family are just like they're angry that basically their only chance of like keeping power in the Fargus royal court has disappeared, and so to cope, they became racist. Which bad coping strategy, girl. Get a hobby. Oh wait, you have a hobby. Okay, moving on. Let's see. Felix isn't much better, honestly, truly. Like, Felix and Ingrid, I kind of grouped them together because Felix is subtly racist. Ingrid, Ingrid's like, Ingrid tries to be subtly racist, but like everyone and their mother knows. Felix is more subtly racist, but he also calls the dude a dog. So, yeah. There's that. Dimitri as the prince, his heart's in the right place. Like, he wants to do better by Desker, but he's kind of a centrist. Like, he doesn't do anything. He simply just stands in as like, oh, with the friendship between me and Jadu, people in the kingdom will come to see that Desker isn't bad. Which is like the same empty platitudes that we see over and over again in like politics when it comes to stuff. It's bad. It's not good. And then, as I said, to Sylvain is like the nicest of this quartet, but he's also just like not good for Juice's mental health. It's just like Sylvain's not a good person to begin with. Uh, Look, Sylvain's not a good person to begin with. Honestly, kind of none of them are. None of the four are. Um, but he's the better one of the Fargus for him, Dimitri, Felix, Ingrid. It's a mess, honestly, truly. Uh, I'm changing things like honestly. The first chapter is kind of the hardest one because it's like you have to balance between the first chapter. The hardest one's right because I was trying to like strike the tone, and the tone is realistic, like realism in a Fire Emblem game is very difficult to pull off, I think. And it's interesting that I tried to do that even without thinking about it. But in the end, I think I did a good job. Uh, Basically, all pregame is like to do 14 to 18 when the game starts, and like dealing with the different types of racism. Like, he deals with pointed racism from political elites. He deals with he has to like run from aggressive and dangerous racism at one point in time. I only have him do that once because oh god, it was so bad. Like, it was such a bad thing for me to write at the time because I was just like, uh. And note, this is before everything that like popped off with police brutality and like um like white lone wolf attackers. Uh, but yeah, like me writing it beforehand, I was just like, damn, like, because I had like memories of that nearly happening to me before I got the hell out of Dodge. So it was very hard to write about that. It was like Ingrid's trying to be subtle racist, like calling him dirt and whatever, and butchering his name because his name suddenly, the dude's name suddenly got changed to Dway, which is right, which I'm right in a way for that because the Dway is based on the Dwen in Egyptian mythology. So I'm right. Um, but uh, like Ingrid is salty and racist and a child. Like, mind you, she is a child. She is around the Dway's age. But like, girl, come on. Understand, like, what you doing is bad. Uh, I go more into Fargus and how, like, the royalty and nobility stuff messes with Dimitri. Because basically, I'm going into systematic racism and oppression in this fic. And it takes, like, it will take quite a while. This is a slow burn to justice kind of fic. But honestly, this is like the fic that when I started writing it, I was like, okay, this is going to be something that I'm personally going to enjoy, but I don't think it's going to like resonate in society or whatever. It's not going to resonate well because when I was writing an earlier version, I was more focused on like character ships and stuff, and I was like, this isn't good. Let me bring it back to the actual idea. And yeah, this is the part two, and as I'm like slowly scrolling through this, I'm like, damn, I was calling nearly everything, every tactic used in American politics right now. Like, ugh. Like, I've, like, there's a whole thing with, like, Ingrid, like, being bad at cooking and Dre having to taste it instead of the cook who's supposed to train her. Um, God. I'm looking at this and, like, what the hell? But, yeah, I there's so much to talk about when it comes to Vargas and how garbage it is. And then like the rest of Foglin doesn't get a pass either. But I don't get to focus on them that much in this fic. Like this fic is really just I took canon, shoved it to the side, stole the main important bits, and said Dway gets to be a house leader at some point in the future. We are taking back Dusker. Fuck Vargas. And I think that's valid of me. I think that's absolutely valid of me. Um, yeah, this fic just honestly revolves around blackness. And I'm proud of that. And I love that for me. Love that for me. Don't ever get it wrong. I love being black. And I love like trying to showcase that in fics. But this is a difficult fic to put it in because it's a serious one. There's a lot of microaggressions I have to write. And the fact that I can write so many different tiny microaggressions is something that should be noticed. Yeah, White Clouds is, White Clouds in game. It's just, there is, ooh, thank goodness I'm going through this. I get to fix stuff. I say as I absolutely mess up typing. But yeah, honestly, the plot that I wanted the way to go through is Fargus kind of sucks. I have a friend now. Is there something I can do to change it? Still kind of working with Fargus under Fargus' system, realizing that the system is shit, can't be changed, whatever, yada yada. Breaking away from the system, rebelling, bringing your own terms into the system, slash overthrowing, rebelling the system. And that's a lot to do in a fic. Like, that's a lot to do in fiction, to like try to show a concrete example of abolition, a concrete example of actual change, of actual revolution. And so, like, now with everything going on with uh, defunding police, defunding the military, actually talking about abolition and police abolition in healthy and quantifiable ways, I just think that it's very interesting that I was like able to come up with this in fiction in a world that has already existed, not having changed that much. I only have to add like a few characters, but God, it's just there's so much to talk about, and I don't even know where to start when it comes to like police. Like basically, uh, too long, don't read. Um, if we truly look at like the culture of Fargus and honestly the culture of a lot of Foodland, because Lester Alliance and a Drestian Empire, they aren't scot free either. Okay, like I'm not the person to talk that much about them, but the entire Foodland continent is just yikes. Um, but yeah, there's just I just have a lot of thoughts and a lot of opinions. They all fall into this fic, and I'm happy about how I'm slowly starting to find more and more relation in this fic with my life and then with, what's going on in the world right now. It's very tough at sometimes to like write something because it's just like I experienced this yesterday. Like I still haven't fully registered that I've experienced this yesterday. And then I'm writing about it and it's just like, wow, I hope I don't get this wrong because that'd be embarrassing. That'd be horrible. That'd be garbage. That'd be disgusting. But honestly, as far as I know, I'm doing a good job. There's very little more that I could do right now in the position that the story is at. Like I'm just barely at like chapter 7 in game, which I didn't think I'd make it. I didn't think I'd get here. There's like 30,000 words. 34. We aren't even at like the break in the story. Um, there's just so much to talk about. God, I feel like I should have given a link to the publish to where it is. It's on AO3. It's under Mercurial Comet. You'll find it. Um, yeah, this has been my talk about fan fiction in real life and using my own fanfic to promoting my own fanfic. Promoting my own fanfic to talk about serious social issues. I'm gonna switch it back over because that got. I knew it was gonna be a bit dark, but damn, I was not expecting that. Let's switch it back over. I can play one more song before we go. I think maybe I really just brought this guitar up to my head without even thinking it was a song. Okay. Uh, this is The Closer by Tiny, or at least the first verse, because I refuse to look up the lyrics right now. Now I'm thinking maybe I was dumb. I felt my feet lift off the ground, and my heart was beating at my bones. I need you closer as we're in the middle of the street. Then I'll pretend that I'm yours to keep. Cars are running fast on both sides of his head. His eyes say, closer. 2, 3, 4. Closer, closer. I met you when the sun was down and the bar was closed. We both have had no sleep. My face beneath the street lamp, it reveals what it is lonely people seek. To be closer, 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 closer. Till you're close. Yes, see, I know this. Till you're close enough to lose. Love close to the point to where you know in your mind you cannot choose. Haven't played this song in a long time. I think about it. You're close enough to lose. You're close enough to lose your heart. Ooh, I have not played this song in a long time. I should not have picked this song. Oh well. Now I'm thinking maybe I was dumb. I felt my feet lift off the ground, and my heart was beating at my bones. I need you closer. That's the end of the stream. Thanks for going to my nonsense rambling. We're just kind of here. Oh wow, doesn't matter. Stay safe. If you do go protest, make sure that you cover your face. Wear clothes without logos or distinctive shapes on them. Wear clothes that try to cover your figure because they're doing that. Wear shoes that aren't very noticeable. Like if you wear like Vans or something, make sure they're black, not like rainbow or whatever. Um, if you have a sign, make sure you can fold it, hide it, stash it quickly if you need to, because people have been tracking that. Turn off your cell phone as you travel to and from the protest, because they've been getting people for geolocation stuff if your phone's on. What other tips can I say? Bring water, bring snacks. Don't put on makeup just in case you get tear gassed. If you do get tear gassed, water is a good way to flush it out. If you have like a traffic cone, cover the canister with it so that way the gas doesn't spread. You can put them out with water if you get close enough, because they are like burning, so water beats fire. Remember that rubber bullets are less lethal, not non-lethal. They can still harm, they can still kill. People have been seriously injured with them. And honestly, just stay safe. Like, if you need to bow out, bow out. There are much more of us than there are of police officers. And remember that in a protest against police brutality, police officers are not there to keep the peace. They are the counter protesters. They are showing their hands with every act of violence that they do as the counter protesters. Remember this. Remember to just always double check whatever you're being told. Do your own research. Look up police abolition. Listen to Angela Davis. I don't know